Hello guys and girls, Wager Detective here, July 23rd, 2026. We're going to cap this Twins vs. Guardians game. Before we get into that, be sure to follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and leave comments and shares and likes on all those platforms. I really appreciate all my fans out there. I love you guys, present and future. Let's get into this cap. Twins versus Guardians. Twins in this game are a plus 120. The Guardians are coming back minus 142. The over-under is 7.5. Minus 102 to the over. Minus 120 to the under. Let's get into this cap. All right, we look at the Twins. They're 4-5 last 9 at the Guardians. 6 over and 3 under. They're minus 9 run differential in the last 9 at the Guardians. Average score of those games is 9.44 runs per game average. We look at the road day games for the Twins this year. They are 11-13, minus 11 run differential. 14 over and 10 under in those games. They're scoring 4.29 runs per game to 4.75 in their 24 road day games. Comes out to 9.04 runs per game average. The Twins are 4-7 in their last 11 road day games, 8 over, 3 under, minus 17 run differential, scoring 4.36 runs a game to 5.91 for their opponents. So between their 24 road day games on the year, minus 11, if we strip it down to the last 11, they're 4-7, minus 17. So the run differential goes more minus even in the most recent games. If we look at their last 9 overall, the Twins are 4-5, minus 15 run differential. They're scoring 4 runs a game to 5.66 for their opponents. Comes out to 9.66 runs per game average. If we look at the Twins on road day games versus the Central this year, road Central games this year, overall they're 6-10, minus 43 run differential. That stands out to me. So the Twins 6-10 in road Central games. Minus 43 run differential, 11 over and 5 under. They're scoring 3.87 runs a game to 6.56 for their American League Central counterparts, and that comes out to 10.44 runs per game average. So if you look at the cap so far 4-6 in their last 10, 11-9 in their last 20. You look at what they're doing last 9 at the Guardians, 4-5. You look at what they're doing in road day games, 11-13, 4-7 in their last 11 road day games, and now 6-10 road versus Central, minus 43 run differential. If we look at their last 7 versus the road Central, they're 2-5, but minus 27. So you would think that number would jump in almost in half. But again, they're actually minus more runs in the last 7 than they are in their last 16. If you try to compute it that way. Their last 7 road versus Central, scoring 4 runs a game to 7.86 for their opponents. And when we look at who's going to be on the mound, Taj Bradley, he had a bad outing last outing versus the Cubs. This is going to be his back-to-back road starts for him. You could expect a little bit of progression here because I don't think the Guardians lineup is quite as dangerous, although we do see that Jose Ramirez is back. DeLauder's back and healthy. Rocchio is a problem. Bazana, I call him Bonanza. He's going to move into the 5 spot. Hoskins could always be a problem. Manzardo, the heavy bats are tough. Now you look at the Twins; they do got Buxton back. Buxton's back off that hip impingement. Josh Bell's always a threat. Cody Clemens is playing really good. But after that, Keyshaw's okay. They're a very patient lineup. They wait for their pitches. You saw that against Boyd in their last outing when they saw him. They're a dangerous team, and you look at them. They're 50-53 on the year, and they're just a really tough team. They're playing a lot better than expected. You got to give Blake Shelton some credit there, Coach Shelton, for that. But if we look at Bradley, he's 4-1 in his last. The Twins are 4-1 in Bradley's last 5 starts, plus 6 run differential. In Bradley's last 5 starts, he's got a 3.19 ERA, a 1.10 WHIP, and a 1.16 home runs per 9. If we look at what he's done on the road this year, this definitely stands out for me. The Twins are 7-4 when Bradley starts on the road. It's not just they're 7-4, but they're plus 21 run differential, scoring 6.27 runs per game to 4.36 for their opponents. So when Bradley starts on the road this year, they're scoring 6.27 runs per game average over those 11 road games, plus 21 run differential. That's a thing that brings this cap back a little bit to the Twins. That stands out. If we look at what he's done on the road this year in 56 innings pitched, he does have a 4.5 ERA, a 1.45 WHIP, and a concerning 1.61 home runs per nine. So the thing that stands out here is the fact that, you know, they're scoring for him, but also he's, you know, there's teams are scoring runs on them in the same token. Now we look at day games this year. When he pitches in day games, he is 6-4, +3 run differential, and in day games when he does pitch, the Twins are only scoring 3.9 runs per game average over those 10 games. Their opponents are scoring 3.6. In 56 2/3 innings pitched in day games this year, he does have a respectable 3.49 ERA, a 1.32 WHIP, and a 0.95 home runs per nine. So last day game was against the Cubs, at the Cubs. Now he's going to be a day game at the Guardians. But some of the teams the Twins have beaten in his day game starts: beat LA Angels 4-2, beat the Cardinals 5-4. They did lose 0-8 to the White Sox. That was in division. They did win at Boston 4-2. They lost versus Seattle 3-5. They lost to Cincinnati 4-5. They beat Toronto in Toronto 8-2. They beat Kansas City 5-1, and they beat Baltimore 4-1. So some of those wins in there, like the Angels, Cardinals, Boston, when they weren't playing good, you beat Toronto at Toronto, KC, Baltimore. I don't think they're the same teams as Cleveland. So, and even in his 6-4 team record, when he does start during the day, they're only +3 run differential. I think the thing that stands out in this cap is the fact that on the road they are 7-4, +21 run differential, and they're scoring 6.27 runs per game when Bradley starts on the road. But again, respectable in his last 5 starts. But he did get shelled by the Cubs. Got a hold of him. There was a home run in there. They just got to him. But he does have a respectable 3.19 ERA in his last 5. But on the road, it jumps to 4.5, and then in day games, the ERA is back to 3.49. So he's around, you know, anywhere from a high 3 to a 4 between all those splits. Now, let's get into the Guardian side of the cap. The Guardians 7-3 in their last 10, 11-9 in their last 20. They're 17-16 in one-run games. We did say that the Twins are 11-14 in one-run games, so Guardians marginally better. In home day games this year, the Guardians are 12-9, +3 run differential, 13 over, 8 under. They are scoring 4.24 runs per game to 4.09 for their opponents. So fairly similar between the splits. Road day and home day, both teams scoring, you know, anywhere from 4.24 to 4.29 for the Twins. If we look at the last 11 for the Guardians in home day games, they are 5-6, but they're -14 run differential, 9 over, 2 under. They're scoring 4.36 runs per game to 5.63 for their opponents. So we look at both these teams in their last 11 home and road day game split. They're scoring exactly the same. The only difference is the Twins are giving up about 30% higher on the runs that they're giving up, 5.91 to the Guardians 5.63. So when we look at that, if we look at what they're doing in their last 9 overall, the Guardians are 6-3. They're +5 run differential in their last 9, scoring 4.77 runs a game to 4.22 for their opponents. And this is a favorable split for the Guardians. We said the Twins are 4-5 in their last 9, but they're -15 run differential. The Guardians are 6-3 in their last 9, +5 run differential, and they're scoring 0.77 more runs per game than the Twins, who are scoring 4 runs a game. So, and they're giving up less runs by like a run and almost a half. So, very favorable for them there. Now, when we get into home Central versus the Central this year, the Guardians are 9-7, +13 run differential. And again, with the Guardians, they're 6-10 in road Central games this year, -43 run differential. So that's a big jump. Whereas we said the Guardians, again, 9-7 in home games versus Central, +13 run differential. They're scoring Guardians scoring 4.75 in this split to the road Central for the Twins scoring 3.87. So it's almost a run higher for the Guardians, and the Guardians are only giving up 3.93 runs per game average at home in those 16 home Central games, whereas the Twins are giving up 6.56 runs per game in their road Central games. So a big discrepancy in those two splits. If we look at their last 9 versus home versus Central, they're 6-3, right? For the Guardians, plus 10 run differential, and we said for the Twins, they're 2-5 in their last 7 road Central, minus 27s, scoring 4 runs a game to 7.86. Last 9 home games versus Central, the Guardians are scoring 5.22 and only giving up 4.11. So those splits right there are, cautionary tales to why the line is the way it is. Even with Bradley on the mound coming off a bad start, people are going to be expecting a bounce back. I usually think where there's smoke, there's fire. We're going to get into Gavin Williams. Last 5 starts, the Guardians are 3-2, minus 2 run differential. And we said Bradley, they're 4-1 in his last 5 starts, plus 6 run differential. The Guardians 3-2 in Williams' last 5 starts, minus 2 run differential. But in them 3 wins, they are 2-0 when the game goes under that 7.5 that's set today. Last 5 starts for Williams, he does have a 4.56 ERA, a 1.20 WHIP, and he is giving up 1.63 home runs per 9 in his last 5. So if you look at that metric and those splits last 5, Bradley's pitching better. He's got a 3.19 ERA, and we said Williams has a 4.56. Bradley last 5 has a 1.10 WHIP. Williams has a 1.20 WHIP. Last 5, Bradley's giving up 1.16 home runs per 9. He's given up 4 home runs. Williams has given up 5 home runs for a 1.63 home runs per 9 on 27 2/3 innings pitched. So the home run ball could be a problem in this game. I do believe that Bradley could be touched up for a home run or 2. I do believe that Williams in the current form could be a problem. But when we look at the home games for Williams when he starts at home, the Guardians are 7-3, and they're 5-0 when the game goes under 7.5 total. So if this game does go under, I got to give it to the Guardians just based on that split. So keep that in mind. So Guardians 7-3 when Williams starts at home, plus 6 run differential. In 60 innings pitched, he does have a 3.45 ERA, a 1.15 WHIP, and 1.05 home runs per 9. We did say that with Bradley, he does have a 4.5 ERA, a 1.45 WHIP, and a 1.61 home runs per 9, whereas Williams pitches a lot better. 3.45 ERA compared to the 4.5. The WHIP is 1.15 to Bradley's 1.45 on the road, and he's only given up 1.05 home runs per 9 in his 10 home starts, whereas Bradley's given up 1.61 home runs per 9. So the cap is clearly in the favor of the Guardians, in my opinion. He did beat Minnesota at Minnesota 5-2 on July 9th. He had 7 innings pitched with 2 earned runs, a home run, and a walk. But Bradley did beat Cleveland also this year 3-1. Both those games, when these guys pitched against these teams, it wasn't the same day, but both those games did go under. Now, if we look at Gavin Williams on the year, the Guardians are 13-7. He does have 119 in the 3rd innings pitched. He's given up 100 hits, 37 walks for a flat 4 ERA and a 1.14 WHIP. And Williams is going to be on 4 days rest, where he is 6-3 this year on 4 days rest. And the Guardians are plus 7 run differential in those 9 games. In 57 in the 3rd innings pitched on 4 days rest, Williams has a very gorgeous 2.35 ERA and a 0.96 WHIP. He's only given up 4 home runs in 57 in a 3rd, which is less than a home run a game. Guys, if I'm looking at this cap, all things considered, I do believe that the Guardians are the play here. I know it's not the price you want to be looking for. I do believe that Bradley is kind of regressing just in that last outing. I know it was against the Cubs. Cubs are dangerous, but if you look at this lineup, I mean, Ramirez is going to be able to bat from the left side of the plate, where he's much better as a career hitter going against the right-hander Bradley. The Lauder is an absolute beast. Both those guys are going to see him, from the right side. So essentially, the first three batters for Cleveland in this lineup, actually the first five batters for these guys are going to be able to do probably damage against Bradley, and I think they're going to score here. I do believe there's going to be runs in this game. 7.5 is telling me that they think both these pitchers are going to deal, but if I'm thinking one pitcher is going to deal more than the other, I got to go with Gavin Williams. I do like Bradley. He let me down against the Cubs. That's not the reason why I'm going against him in this game. I just feel like I'm starting to learn where there's smoke, there's fire. He did give up, considerable runs against the Cubs, and I just believe that this game is going to basically come down to what pitcher is going to get touched up more, and I believe Williams is going to shove, and I believe Bradley's going to get touched here. I believe he will give up a couple runs before he's pulled in this game, and there are some bright spots, but this whole cap for me is leaning towards the Guardians. I do believe that there is a little bit of value there with the Guardians, even at minus 142. You could wait until that first inning is done, but again, the damage could already be done there in this game. If it does get past that first inning, we could see Williams giving up. He gave up a home run in the. I mean, it seemed like in the last game he had the ability to get 2 outs, and then every time he got 2 outs is when all the runs that he was giving up in that last game. He gave up the home run in the first inning after having 2 outs, and then every inning after that, it seemed like there was traffic on bases. Cleveland's a pretty good team, patient team, and I just believe that their patience and the fact that there's just a lot of left-handed bats, they're just, in my opinion, going to get to Taj Bradley. So the call here for me, for Wager Detective, and I'm not saying Minnesota's not going to score. I think they could score too, and probably score some off the. But I'm not saying I trust either one of these bullpens. I do think this game is going to get over. I think the Guardians are going to win the game. So that's going to be the call here. Wager Detective calling on this July 23rd, 2026 game between the Twins and the Guardians. Wager Detective calling the Guardians money line and over 7.5. And if it goes under 7.5, like I said, at home this year when Williams starts, they're 7-3, but 5-0 when the game goes under 7.5 in Williams starts. So, if you look at that and you take it for what it's worth, I do believe there's going to be runs here, but I do believe that when the dust settles, I do believe the Guardians will be the ones scoring more runs. So that's the call here, July 23rd, 2026. Wager Detective calling the Guardians and over 7.5. Be sure to follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, leave comments and likes, and share this video, guys. I really appreciate all my fans out there, and I love all my fans, present and future, and I hope everyone has a great day and cashes, guys. Let's go Guardians. I'll talk to you soon.